up, everybody? Welcome to week 37 here on the 52 Horrific Weeks 1981 series. I am your host, Mood616, and thank you once again for joining me here. Alrighty, so, once again, all the remaining films went into the randomizer. Press random, and yeah, we got Hell Night. Of course, Linda Blair stars in this one. This movie was from the producers of Halloween. So, you know, I had pretty much a lot to live up to. But, you know, with all the success of the slashers in 1981, there was tons of them. One pretty much opening up in the theater. I think how it goes is there was one pretty much every weekend for the whole fucking year. So, you know, does this one really match up to the other ones? Well, getting into the plot of this one, Hell Night is simply about a group of fraternity/sorority pledges who are forced to basically, you know, spend a night in this dark mansion. Now, of course, this huge mansion has a history. You know, it's basically what happened in this mansion, or the story goes, the mythology goes behind this place, is that this father of this family basically killed his whole family and then killed himself. And of course, when the police showed up there to investigate, he had actually left a note basically documenting everything that he'd done. He'd killed his son and his daughter and his wife, and, you know, obviously killed himself. But when they showed up there was only the 3 bodies, so one of the bodies was missing and was never recovered. So that is the backstory to the house. And of course, on this every year on the anniversary, this sorority basically, or this fraternity makes, you know, their pledges, spend a whole night inside this house. If they get through that night, then you know, they're good to go. So, of course, you've got, you know, the head of the fraternity guy, you know, and his lackeys, or whatever you want to call them. They're of course fucking around with these pledges too and stuff like that. And then, of course, the real nightmare begins. So yeah, that's your basic plot to the film. My thoughts on this one. You know, everybody knows 1981 was just filled with really, like, lots of really good slashers, lots of good films in general. In my opinion, this one kind of falls right in the middle. Like, it's not bad, but it's not that great either. My biggest problem with this movie is that it runs way too long. I think the editing could have been a little, you know, more condensed. I think they could have tightened up the editing. There's a lot of scenes in this movie that really drag on, that, in my opinion, kind of hurts it a little bit, you know, especially with the whole end of the film. I think the way it goes down could have been, you know, with the right editing, I think it could have been, you know, just a lot more, I don't know, there's just a couple scenes that slow it down, and it really hurts it, in my opinion. But, you know, with that said, you know, the cinematography in this film is really good. It's really well done. The setting of the film is awesome. The mansion that they used and filmed in, it was just, it's really good. They capture the atmosphere. Holy crap! They capture the atmosphere in this film very well. You know, they did a really good job with it. The acting in this movie, you know, Linda Blair's definitely not her best performance. You know, there is times in the movie where I'm just like, wow, you are really bad. But, you know, it is a slasher film. You can obviously give them a pass for that, but it's just, I don't know, man. Her acting was kind of sketchy in parts, for sure. You know, and another thing about this movie that kind of gets to me a little bit is how low the body count in this one is. You know, I know that there's only 4 pledges in, you know, trying to get through this night and stuff like that. But, you know, with that said, like, the body count isn't really there. I mean, the kills are so spread out in this film too that you don't really notice it a whole lot unless you're really paying attention. When I watch slasher films a lot, you know, I tend to almost keep track of the body count. It's just something I've done since I was like a little kid. But, you know, with this one, like, there is a kill basically in the first 10-15 minutes of the film. Then there's another one, but then they're very spread out. So, I mean, you know, the body count doesn't really matter. It doesn't affect your watching. You know, it's not that big a deal. You know, talking about the kills, they're pretty decent. There's nothing to write home about, though. They're not that spectacular. I think pretty much all the kills are different. The killer manages to, you know, kind of mix it up a little bit. They're okay. They're not the greatest kills in the world. But, you know, with all that said, you know, it's not a bad movie. You know, like I said, though, I think this movie runs about 101, 102 minutes. I think it easily could have been, you know, 10, 15 minutes shorter. Easily. You know, with some tighter editing, would have probably really helped it out a lot. Now, I can't get into it right now. I will say the killer looks pretty cool in this film. For the people that have seen this movie and know what I'm talking about, there's like one major fucking plot hole in this movie that makes absolutely no sense. The mythology behind the film is, you know, like I said in the beginning of this this review, you know, it states that the father killed his entire family and the one son was not found. You know, I'm just going to leave it there. I've never been able to understand how this comes about in the movie. It's never explained. You know, I don't want to say the wrong thing right here, because if you haven't seen this movie, then I won't give it away. But I guess there is kind of a plot twist in it that is really just out of left field. But, you know, with that said, the actual outcome of this film, I mean, the ending's pretty decent. You know, the way it's shot, the way it goes down is pretty cool. You know, it's kind of what you expect from it. The characters in this movie all around are very likable. So, you know, with that said, like, there's so many slasher films made nowadays that the characters you just don't give a shit about. You know, you don't care if they live or die or whatever. This one, you kind of get to know them a little bit because there's so few characters in it, right? So they kind of develop it so much, and like I said, the characters are all really likable. But, you know, if I had to rate this one, I'd probably give it, I don't know, probably maybe like a 6 out of 10. You know, it's above average, I guess. Like, the cinematography alone does it justice, so... But yeah, you know, it doesn't really stand out in my book, though. I mean, if the kills were a little more outstanding, a little better, I think that it probably would have been a little more enjoyable. But, you know, it's still a decent watch. I just wish it was shorter, though. Shorter would have been the ideal thing for this movie, so... But yeah, anyways, that's Linda Blair in Hell Night, Pray for Day. It's an okay tagline, I guess. But yeah, so anyways, yeah, another one from the 81 series, week 37 here. We are getting down to the nitty-gritty. So yeah, Mood616 signing off. Thank you for watching and subscribing. Peace out, homies.